Welcome back to another English lesson. Every November 11th, Americans celebrate Veterans Day. And that is when Americans pay tribute, honor. We will talk about honor in a little bit. We honor our veterans. Veterans, we'll talk about them in a minute officially, but those are people who served in the military. And the reason we celebrate it on November 11th is that is the day that World War I ended. In today's English lesson, I have 10 terms that Americans use when I wouldn't say celebrate. I shouldn't use that word, celebrate Veterans Day. I should use honor or remember. We have another holiday called Memorial Day when we honor soldiers or veterans who died actually fighting in a war. This is different. This is anyone who has ever served in the military, and we will talk about military in a minute. So let's start talking about these terms so you have a better idea of what Veterans Day is. First of all, we should probably talk about what a veteran is. That is someone who served in the military, past tense. So they're not actively in the military. We might use that term, active military. They're in the military right now. Oh man, we have to talk about military. Give me a second. My grandfather is a veteran who served in the Army, and that is true for me. The man in the picture is not my grandfather. Unfortunately, my grandfather passed away some maybe 40 years ago, but he did fight in World War II. He was a veteran. He served in the military. Now, I've used that term a couple times already in this English lesson. I am sorry if you don't know what that means, but you will know what it means right now. The armed forces of a country. So we might talk about the Army, the Navy, the Marines we have, the Air Force, the Coast Guard. We have a lot of branches of the military. The military protects the country. I'll make that picture a little bigger. And you can see, I don't know, maybe that's New York City. In the distance, we have a jet flying overhead. We have some sort of military boat. Maybe that's a destroyer. And there are soldiers standing guard. One is actually pointing their weapon. Serve is the next one. It's a verb. We might say people have served in the military, and that means to work for your country. Maybe you saw the English lesson I did about the government shutdown. I've done a few on my other channel, and luckily, people in the military are still getting paid during this shutdown. So to serve means to work for your country, especially in the military. Many men and women serve in the U.S. military. And on Veterans Day, we honor those who have served. So I can start using these words a little bit more now that you know them. And if you don't know them the first time you watch, maybe you watch 2 or 3 times, be sure to like this lesson. Go ahead and subscribe if this is your first time here. So to honor someone, that means we show respect and thanks. If you take a look at that picture, I'll make it a little bigger. That is a veteran. He is in a wheelchair. I'm sure he served his country well. That's an American flag. So I'm sure he served the United States. And that young man is honoring him, maybe giving him a flag. And you can see all of the people on the street. They are clapping their hands to honor him. If you are in the military, you are going to make a sacrifice. Maybe you have to leave your loved ones at home while you go and serve overseas in another country, maybe. But to sacrifice means giving up something important to help others. Of course, they sacrifice their time. They sacrifice time with their families. If you ever hear the ultimate sacrifice, that means somebody died for their country. Somebody died while serving in the military. All right, we have a sentence here that uses sacrifice. Veterans made many sacrifices, like leaving their families to keep us safe. On Veterans Day, you might see a ceremony. Sometimes there's a parade involved. We'll talk about that in a minute. But a ceremony is a special event to remember or celebrate something. And of course, for Veterans Day, we have ceremonies to celebrate veterans. And in the picture, you can see there are some veterans on a stage. On the stage at the bottom, that's what we call bunting. I'm not sure if you will ever need to know that word. I'm not sure how many native English speakers know bunting, but it definitely looks like there is a ceremony in a park for veterans. Let's read the sentence about ceremony and Veterans Day. There was a Veterans Day ceremony at the park. And if you look at the way Veterans Day is spelled in that sentence, that is correct. There is no apostrophe S to show possession like we usually do. That's the way Veterans Day is spelled in English. Next is a memorial. Memorial, that is a place built to remember someone or something important. And those young people, they look like they are placing flowers at the Vietnam War Memorial in Washington, D.C. Yeah, there are a couple memorials in Washington, D.C. for famous people, famous places. Lincoln Memorial, that's kind of a famous place, and that is to memorialize, that's the verb, memorialize Abraham Lincoln. I'm sorry, but I need to interrupt the English lesson for just a second. I am offering private tutoring, one-on-one English conversations with me. I will record the lesson. You will be able to watch it many times as you want. And right now, I am offering a discount code. It's fall 15. Fall is ending soon, so I'm not exactly sure how long this coupon will be good for, at least the next couple weeks. Click on the link in the comments or the description for more information. You can see when I'm available. If you sign up, there will be a little form to fill out. You can ask me questions. I can prepare some kind of lesson for you if you would like. I know it's super hard to find a speaking partner, but I can be that guy for you. Look forward to speaking with you. Okay, now back to the English lesson. Let's read this sentence that uses memorial. We visited the war memorial to lay flowers. Next, we have freedom. Freedom. Americans love their freedom, or at least we think we are free. Maybe it's one big joke and we're not actually free, but it feels like I have the freedom in this country to express how I feel, and I don't have to worry about being put in jail. I can say the president is the worst president ever, and guess what? I have the freedom of speech, we might say. And the only reason Americans think they have that kind of freedom is because people served in the military, fought wars to help us stay free. Freedom is the right to live and speak freely. Veterans helped protect our freedom. On Veterans Day, you might see a parade. Do you know this word in English? Parade. That is a public celebration with marching bands and flags. A lot of walking, usually, if you are in a parade. The Veterans Day parade went through the city streets. Next, we have courage. If you are going to serve in the military, you definitely have to have courage. Another word you might hear with courage is brave. So let's look at the official definition. It means being brave even when it's hard or scary. Soldiers show great courage during war. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Bombs, guns going off. You have to have a lot of courage if you want to fight in a war or serve in the military. Now, one important thing to do if you are studying English is reading. Reading helps quite a bit when it comes to improving your English. So I would like to read these two paragraphs for you. You can follow along as I read. You can pause the video and read it yourself. But with these two paragraphs, you are going to learn even more about Veterans Day. Okay, here is the Veterans Day reading passage. Veterans Day is celebrated in the United States on November 11th each year. It is a day to honor the men and women who served in the military. Long ago, it was called Armistice Day to remember the end of World War I in 1918. On this day, people thank veterans for their service and courage. Many towns have parades and ceremonies to show respect. Schools often invite veterans to speak to students about their experiences. People may visit memorials or place flags or flowers to say thank you. Veterans Day is a time to remember that freedom is not free. It comes from the sacrifices of many brave people. I hope now you know what Veterans Day is a little bit better. I hope you know some new words. Maybe you will see these on the IELTS or TOEFL exam. Right down there is an English lesson YouTube thinks you are going to like. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.